Welcome, guys, to the comic book episode of the Ray and Ralph podcast. We got Ralph in the building.
What up?
We got a special guest, Jeremy, in the building.
Hello.
And I forgot your name already.
Antonio.
That's rude. But all I heard was Jeremy the whole week, and I hit me with Antonio at the last minute.
Last minute edition.
That's
my co-worker, Antonio. So what's up, everybody? Today we're gonna get into like a whole bunch of comic book shit. Some of these movies that we've watched over the years, and especially one that just came out last week.
We gotta touch real hard on the Joker.
Yeah, that one we're touching hard on.
I think Trey.
Yep.
I think Trey could give me 20 minutes of hits.
Yo, wait, hold on.
All right. In the context.
Wait, yo, hold.
Pause.
You gotta make a clip video of you.
Oh, I do.
That shit goes both ways.
Oh.
Whoa. I'm not insensitive anymore. I'm cultured now. Right?
Uncultured swine. But not just like real quick. I did want to like ask you guys like how did you get into like this whole comic book shit, and just what did you like about what attracted you to start reading?
Like a getaway, but not a getaway, because I wasn't one of those sheltered kids who read comics hiding. But it was, growing up, you couldn't be into nerd culture like you can now. So I was like doing it on the side, hiding it. So it was like my little getaway.
Yeah, I feel nowadays everybody wants to be.
It's socially accepted now.
Fucking nerd.
Nowadays.
Everybody wants to be a nerd now. And I'm just like,
I was a closet nerd for a long
half of
time.
y'all.
That's what I'm saying, yeah,
half of y'all
that's
bunch
what I
of
was.
posers. What about you, bro? Like, what brought you in? Like, what did you like about like superheroes and all that shit?
I just liked the powers mostly because I think my first superhero, which is funny because he didn't have any powers, was Batman. And my big brothers.
Money is power, dude.
Yeah,
Man,
that's true.
Money is power.
But yeah, most of my big brothers, they got me into it. Showing me the old school stuff. Like, I don't know, not a superhero, but Flash Gordon was like the first thing I really saw
Got it.
when I was young.
Damn,
Flash
Flash
Gordon.
Gordon.
And Batman Forever was like my first superhero movie, I guess, when I was like growing up.
I'm walking out.
Right.
What about you, Rick? Like,
Me, I was just always into the comic books, the superheroes, the backstories. My first superhero movie was Superman. Obviously, I told him I can't stand Superman. He's like I despise Superman. He's too powerful.
Yes.
He's too powerful.
that's like
Yes.
we laid him down.
Not
That's
for
why
real. Lay
he's
him
so
down, face down.
It's great.
He had all the powers, man.
He's afraid of a rock green food coloring.
Right.
Yeah, I think with me it was watching it like when you saw like TV like back in the day, the old Batman. When you hit on the pow, the
Right.
that shit like that.
Damn, that's way back.
Yeah.
That's like 70s.
I was watching that on TV, and then that's when it went from like go from TVs to like when they had like the cartoon series, the shit you watch like the X-Men when they had X-Men on television.
My first movie was like Mighty Mouse.
And then I was like, all right, so
I couldn't afford.
I had to do my research, and I was like, all right, where do these characters come from? And then it's like, that's the comic books. And then
See,
I went
back
to-
then, research was research, and you had to
you had to actually go out into the world.
You have to
you had to
know
put
stuff.
foot to the pavement.
So
There was
I
no
went.
Google
I
back
went.
then.
They had a lot of comic book stores back in the day, so I went to a comic book store, and then
Not where I lived.
that was just everything. I was going in there buying them. I have one of the first appearances of Spider-Man, and that comic's worth a pretty penny, and I have it hidden in like a plastic bag and everything. No one
That's gonna be like
Where you hiding?
retirement money.
huh?
Where you hiding?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I would have been flipped that, dude. I got bills. But
I'm
Nah, it's
I'm
too
waiting
soon.
because that it's
Yeah,
too
it's
soon.
too soon.
It's way
Yeah.
too soon for that. I was watching a video on was it New York Comic Con's Instagram, and on the story somebody has the first appearance, and that one runs for $1 million.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Shit, but let's shoot the shit, man. Let's talk about this Joker movie, man. That's what everybody's been talking about lately.
Yeah, we could do that let's get into that first.
So what did y'all think, man? Rob, what you think?
I was fucking blown away. It was amazing. Like brilliant movie. You walk out disturbed and uncomfortable, but
Definitely.
that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to make you uncomfortable. It was supposed to make you disturbed. Like you just felt uneasy watching it, but that was the whole point. It wasn't Heath Ledger. It wasn't Jack Nicholson. This was a completely different take. It was an origin story.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I went with a group of like friends, and then two of them when they walked out, they were just like, "Oh, this shit was whack." I was like, "This isn't like." I was like, "See, because you went in there thinking you were gonna get a Joker from like the other movies or the comic books or the
It wasn't a
animated
comic book
series."
movie.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
But
It
they
was
said
like
that
an
from the
actual,
beginning.
like,
They said from the
comic book
beginning
movie.
it wasn't gonna be
Yeah.
a comic book movie,
Mm-mm.
and you see like the inspirations of like older movies, and the two most ones are
King
Taxi,
of
King
Comedy.
of Comedy from
Taxi.
Scorsese
Taxi
and
Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Okay.
So like that last scene at the end,
That was dope. I feel like they missed
Where-
out on
yo,
certain
where-
spots, but
Right.
when
we'll
he's
get into
on Murray's show and he
Right.
shoots him in the eye, that's from King of Comedy.
Damn, I guess we're doing spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh
it.
yeah, spoilers.
No,
I think it was actually from
Sorry.
Dark Knight Returns.
What do you think? I'm reviewing a movie I saw without spoiling anything? I was working under the assumption that everybody had gone to the movies to see it already. That shit made almost 100 million.
Did it
over the
really?
weekend.
Yeah,
Yes.
already.
I know it's
95
Yeah.
And it just broke the
96.
record. It just broke a record.
It's still just
most
gonna make
made on a
money.
Monday.
on a Monday.
On a Monday.
Shit.
It's gonna make money just because people are just so intrigued to see
Yeah.
it.
It broke
Well,
Venom's record from last year
Right.
because Venom had 80 million
In like a few hours.
in like a few hours. Yeah, it was like 96 million.
That wasn't a
Shattered
high
it.
ceiling to break though. Venom wasn't really. It was good. But it was
Such trash.
it's not like this.
But Jeremy, how did you feel about the movie, man?
The movie was phenomenal. I mean, like I wrote when I saw the movie. I wrote immediately after I
He
saw
sent
it.
it over to me too.
Oh, you sent it to
I
me?
sent him a screenshot of the review, and then he was just like, "Shit, this makes me want to see it now," because I
Yeah,
saw it
'cause-
before him.
Because like I said in the review, this movie was not meant to encourage you, teach you, inspire you. This movie is made to make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was the
hell.
purpose of it.
Yeah, and there's moments where you're laughing at certain parts, and then you go back and you're like, God damn, I should have never laughed. I should have never laughed. Like I feel real bad. So the movie, like, it makes you feel real uncomfortable, but it opens your eyes to a lot of things too. So like, it transcends comic books at that point because it makes you look at society. So it was phenomenal.
Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah.
Tony, your takes?
I have like a little bit of a hot take. I still think the movie's phenomenal. I would give it 4 out of 5. The one star I'm leaving off is because I still feel like you can't really enjoy it because you can't see how it would have been if he played off Batman. It's the one thing that every other Joker's really done. And even though it's a Joker movie, I just feel like it's hard to like grade him as a Joker among everyone else because every other Joker has gone to play off Batman.
But the distinct difference between that is all the other incarnations of Joker are him already as Joker when the
Right,
movie
yeah.
begins.
Yeah.
He doesn't fully become the Joker to
True,
the end.
yeah.
When he goes on the Murray show and he wreaks all hell. He says,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I killed the guys in the subway," and he's like, "Oh, I felt good." He's like, "I'm tired of telling people." This was him becoming.
Right.
So that's why it's very self-contained. It's a standalone. That's
Oh, definitely.
it's a standalone, and they made Thomas Wayne to be out. Made him to look like the bad guy.
But that's why it's a great movie. But then I don't think his name should ever come up as far as like who's the greatest Joker because you can't really say you saw him become Joker for like the last 10 minutes. Can you really rank him among Heath? And
My take is
Jack?
he was the Joker the whole time. But
But he didn't
developed
discover
it.
He
it
didn't
until
discover
the
it.
end.
It wasn't like his full persona in a way.
Okay,
right?
so how do I say
It was
this? You
like
can't
fine.
judge it when you're judging the persona, but if
Right.
we're talking about like the character, you absolutely can because you
Yeah.
have all the psychotic tendencies there from the beginning.
Yeah.
The reason it was just all he was
Right.
medicated
Which I'll
half the time. Once he got off the meds, that's
Oh,
when
yeah.
everything disappeared,
Yeah, Joaquin
and
did
the
a
real
great
person
job.
came
Look
out.
at his face when he killed those people. On the
Yeah,
street.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He was
Joaquin does
excited.
that great. He does an amazing job, and I do think he's most likely going to win an Oscar. But it's just
You know
that
what it
I
is?
still
Because it's a
think
comic book movie. I don't think it's gonna happen.
You don't think?
But-
I mean, look at Heath. I mean, yeah, he died, but Heath won.
And she had to die.
I'm saying he died.
He
in
died.
the
I'm
second
saying,
one.
but I don't think that's why he got it.
No.
He was gonna
No,
get it
that's
for
the
like
only
his
reason he
life.
won. I think is because if he wouldn't have died, I think people wouldn't realize how intertwined he was with
How
that
lost he
character.
got into it.
Right,
He was-
exactly.
think about it. He left his family for like 2 months. They
Right.
Yeah,
said
yeah,
he lived in
wrote
that
a
apartment.
journal.
yeah.
Think
Right.
about it. He became the Joker in a sense.
I think.
I think
he's
he's
gonna
still
win. I think. why.
only because he's already been nominated 3 times.
My question to
And
you
he
guys
hasn't won,
right now is:
so.
I'm not trying to wish death on anybody. I'm not gonna. But if
It's very
Joaquin,
Dominican of you to say.
damn it, you know what?
Right.
You know what? Because of what happened in the Bronx, and they deserve what they're gonna get. But either way,
Alright.
if let's say for instance, Joaquin does go on like a binge of drinking and ODing on everything, does he win it? I'm not gonna kill him. I'm not gonna say he's gonna if he dies, but what if he does go on this crazy rampage, he becomes this crazy person, running down Hollywood
I'd give
Boulevard,
it to
butt
him
ass
anyhow, even more
naked.
so.
I say no, actually.
Nah, I think he'll still.
Because
I think he'll
he's
win.
copying Heath.
I think he'll win it.
I just want to let it be known you're on this death ledge by yourself.
No, I don't want to wish no death, but what if he
I mean,
does
I get what
become
you're
crazy?
saying.
Well,
No, I
imagine,
got you.
just
But
imagine.
if you were
Yeah.
just like to lose it,
I think you can, dude.
oh, you
The
absolutely
way, yo, he
can.
transformed
Method
his
acting
body.
can be dangerous.
But
Yeah.
not only that, to get method acting into the Joker, you lose your mind.
Yes,
You really do
definitely.
lose your mind.
Yeah.
And especially the way he did it. He was reading Joker comic books.
Yeah.
Joaquin was hanging around psych wards.
See, that I didn't know. I didn't do my research.
Yeah, he was hanging around psych wards and psych patients, and he was sitting at home watching like psych patient videos. What's that thing they do with the eye,
Like
where they stick the needle in their eye?
Oh, lobotomy.
lobotomy.
Lobotomy,
Oh,
yeah. He was watching videos of lobotomy. He even based his
What?
laugh, yeah. He even based his laugh off of
To-
a psychotic patient.
To piggyback off of that, how did you guys feel about his laugh? His laugh was totally different
I
from
loved
Heath
it.
Ledger.
The laugh was
like it.
great.
I didn't like
Nicholas-
Heath is well, not I didn't like it. I still like Heath's better. It's
He
his
is better, but I did like it. I liked
I liked it. It was
I liked
okay.
the laugh.
It was different. It was a different.
It was
take on it.
different.
He couldn't help it.
He
I like how they
kinda
tied
has
it though
be
to
different,
his. They tied it to whatever
His
mental
illness,
health
right.
condition he had,
Mm.
which that's also like a huge part of this movie.
Right.
Because it was just one of those things that his mom lied to him the whole fucking time.
But this
She was
we
just
don't-
like, "Oh,
we
you
really
got
don't
this
know.
head injury because of something." What was it?
He was tied to a radiator.
He was like
and
abused.
beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He
but
was
what did
like
she
stepfather.
say to him? What was the lie? I'm just because
Damn.
she lied about that,
Yeah, right.
and because she never told him that he was adopted either.
Right.
I
That
didn't
we know.
believe anything she
Yeah.
said. She was crazy.
That's true.
Yo,
She
yeah.
was like delusional.
There's
She
a lot of
she
moments
she
in
was
time that
delusional.
whatever she said,
She had the same. I think she had the same thing he had.
Something about
Right.
that.
He got it from her.
Right.
It was passed down to him. She had that shit. If you,
But that goes into
I'm
like the
going
whole
crazy.
mental.
You didn't like his laugh.
I
Not as
enjoyed
much
it. It was
as
different.
Heath.
It was an uncomfortable
It
laugh.
has to
That's-
be. That's
that's-
the thing. I
that's
guess
why
I feel
I
like
like it.
uncomfortable, but I don't know. It's something. All right,
Since
Mark
he could-
Hamill's still the best, or Heath Ledger's still the best as far as like
Alright,
you
that's
know.
not
Mark
fair.
Hamill
You said
does-
Mark Hamill,
I know,
that's not
alright.
fair.
hey, that's you're cheating.
Alright.
If you're gonna say Mark Hamill, you're
It
cheating.
was Mark Hamill.
Mark
Oh,
Hamill,
come on.
he does the Joker in like the video games and the
Walking
animated.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Oh, you guys are way deeper.
Oh,
Let me go.
sorry.
Let me go.
I'm walking
Let's
out.
sit back over there somewhere.
Yeah, no, Mark Hamill is like old school G.
Right.
He,
But that's why I like Joaquin's laugh. He couldn't control it, so that makes me uncomfortable. Like you hear him
That's a
laugh,
good
I'm
point.
like,
Okay.
oh shit, I'm gonna die.
Context wise, yeah, you're right. Well, that
yeah,
makes
if we're
sense.
doing it, in, yeah, you're right. That's a good
Heath
point.
Ledger, like he controlled his laugh depending on the situation. Like when he first walked into the gangsters meeting, he was joking around, and then he had those. He's playing around with his laugh. Joaquin
But
couldn't
he was
control.
getting,
That was
he
terrifying.
was getting
Yeah.
the shit kicked out of him by Batman. He was laughing in his face. That was where it was like the most Joker I've ever seen. He was
Yeah, I would say
beating
so.
the crap out of him, and he was still laughing.
That is
in his
crazy
face.
though. To laugh hysterically on
And
top of
he
that.
said he wanted Christian Bale to really hit him. He said, "Really hit me."
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
telling. He
He
told
actually
us.
Hold
said,
on,
hit me.
real quick. So what I was thinking, I was talking to my son earlier, and he went to go see it by myself, which I still we got to talk about that. And I asked him, who would you be afraid of
more.
more in a room in the dark? He said Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
He said Heath Ledger.
Are you talking about the like Joker or Batman?
Jokey.
The
No,
Joker.
no, no.
Like
Which
which
Joker?
Joker? Heath
Joker.
Ledger
Oh,
or Joaquin? He said Heath Ledger because Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
It almost like you understood this Joker a little bit more, so you could sympathize with him a little
Right.
bit. Because you can sympathize with this Joker.
True.
He
With
didn't
Heath
want-
Ledger, he was just so far gone that you couldn't sympathize with.
Heath Ledger wanted to kill kids. Like, remember when he had those two boats? There was kids on those boats. He was gonna kill
Yeah,
them.
he didn't care.
He didn't care. I mean, he was actually nice.
Well,
to
yeah,
that
one
kid
was
on the bus.
yeah.
So
One was an anarchist and the
Right.
other one was the sociopath.
right.
So think about it. So, but who? That's the question now. Who do you guys think? Who would you rather be in a room with? Either,
to
obviously.
have a beer with,
But to have a chance to get out of there alive.
Oh.
Ooh, that's
No, I'm
Just
dying.
those
That's-
two?
Just
that's-
those two?
that's messed
I'm
up.
dying.
Yeah,
Either
I'm
one of
dead,
those, I'm
but-
dying.
No, you're not
messed
gonna
up.
you're not leave. But who do you think you can
I
change
say
up?
Joaquin.
No,
I say
neither one.
Joaquin.
I can't square up on either one.
I say
I'm
Joaquin.
squaring up on Joaquin because he was
Right.
little as hell.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what? I
Joaquin.
might say I would survive a little bit with Joaquin. He
Think
just
about
makes he just
True.
creeps the
He's
hell out of me.
crazy, but doesn't mean you can't fight him.
How do you guys feel about his body transformation? Because he
He lost a lot of weight. He lost
body.
62 pounds.
The way his shoulder blades look, the way he turned.
There was a lot of
It was
physicality in
almost
his
like a
acting.
golden
Yeah.
kind of effect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he's always been known for his method acting.
He's
But
insane for that,
62
too.
pounds.
62 pounds is a lot.
62 pounds. Now imagine what that did to his mental state. 62 pounds and hanging around psych wards.
And remember, I don't think he was losing that weight like the healthy way.
No, he wasn't.
He was
I don't think
definitely
he-
starving.
He definitely wasn't on a keto diet or like that.
No.
He probably did a Christian Bale with
Low carbs.
lose weight.
Yeah.
Oh God, Christian Bale, the way he lost his weight.
Right.
What movie was
Machinist.
that?
Machinist.
right?
Machinist.
And then he gained it all back
For Batman.
5 months later for
Batman.
Begins.
Did he gain all that weight for that Bush movie? Was it the Bush
Yeah.
movie?
That was
Dick
Oh,
Cheney,
the
Dick
first
Cheney?
one.
Cheney, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like? Did you guys like that movie?
It was good.
Alright,
That was good.
Oh, back,
Yeah.
back to the Joker.
Right.
I don't want to sidetrack this.
But no, I do have a question. So you know that part when he's sitting in Homegirl's apartment?
Yeah.
And then that's when we discover like, oh shit, all of this
Everything
was
was-
a ruse.
Right,
It
yeah.
was it was a figment of his delusions. Delusions of grandeur and all that shit. You know how he walked out but they never showed
Wonder
what
if she
happened?
died or not.
Yeah, do you think she's dead?
I think so, man.
Yeah.
do you think
the
her and
sirens-
her
the
daughter are
sirens
dead?
Showing up at that moment.
Her and her daughter are
I
dead?
think they're gone.
I don't think
they're
the daughter.
No.
I think
Something about his walking out of that apartment, to me, I was like he killed them.
Yeah.
They're dead.
No, because if there were there were sirens, but like he was already being looked at for the other stuff. So if there were
Oh, for
sirens
the-
and
for
he's
the
right
Wall Street
there,
guys.
they would
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
like, all right, what were you doing tonight? We were already looking at you for something else.
Yeah.
But
They
that's
would've
that's
gone
the
out
great
to-
thing about the movie, and I say it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. It's a good movie. The great thing was that they put you in this other reality, and then they take you out of it like, oh shoot, so that was all fake. That was all a ruse.
And
How do we know that the whole movie wasn't a ruse in a sense?
That's what I was gonna say. That ending too.
The ending.
Right,
You
that
have no
ending
idea.
got me.
Think about it.
You don't know, but I mean, like I was telling you before, The Killing Joke, best comic book for
Oh
Joker
yeah,
ever.
that's.
Right.
Have you read The Killing Joke?
Yeah, have you ever
No,
read
never.
it?
Yo.
I was
There's a
half-
movie. They did a movie of it.
They did a
Yeah,
movie.
very
It was
good.
an animated movie.
Animated movie, R-rated
But
too.
in that book, he said, if I'm gonna have an origin story, I want multiple choice.
Right.
I feel like this movie's one of the multiple choices.
So
Really
you know
think
what?
about it.
I may have to read that and then rewatch this again.
So, because he was the
I'm
thing
not
in the
gonna
comics,
miss
he doesn't have an origin story.
No.
Nah.
The
And-
Joker's never the one comic book character.
Yeah.
I don't know about it. There's more. I don't think there's any other ones that doesn't have an origin story. If you can
Doesn't
go,
have an
if
origin
you
I
go,
really can't think
No.
back.
No.
No.
if you
He's
go
the only
back
one.
75 years,
Yeah.
which is that's how long the character's been around, there is not a single origin story. He just appears, and he was only supposed to be like they were killed off quickly,
In issue number 3.
and then they killed him off, and then they kind of realized like
This is
No,
this is
this
his
has
game.
needs to
you know what I
stay.
mean? This
yeah,
is
so-
his
he
game.
something here.
you know they just literally ignored that and brought him back with like a few issues later.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where he doesn't have a start. You know how most you see a lot of the villains have an origin where they come. Like let's say Harley Quinn,
Mhm.
she was a shrink. She was a
Yeah.
professional. She was a
So everybody
She's
has
his-
everybody
even if
has
it's
a
not
story.
lengthy origin story. it's
Everybody
still
has a
something.
story.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has
And
an origin.
I'm tired
The
of
thing
that.
about this, yeah.
Jesus. Batman.
But
Jesus
I was
Christ, I
so-
know already.
I was so glad that Homecoming
didn't show that.
Didn't show
Right,
that.
right.
I appreciate
They
that.
skipped
I really
that.
do.
I'm kind of
Civil War
curious.
and to an
Civil
extent-
War teased it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they didn't. You know what I mean? Like they didn't cast someone to be Uncle Ben and kill him. And the same thing they did, even though it's literally a steaming pile of shit. Batman vs Superman. You knew who I was going with that. They don't show the origin either. He's already Batman. The origins in the opening credits.
I like the fact that he was
Close.
older too.
That
That I
That's
did
steam,
like.
there's no steam. It's just
Is
polished.
that a
shit.
polish
It is.
The,
No steam.
the Justice League though.
The rated
That's
R
the
version, which
The
made,
director's cut,
put it
right.
3 hours, the director's cut,
Right.
the Snyder cut, that made
That
it
was good.
Yeah.
tolerable,
Yeah.
but it still sucked.
As much as Superman and his fake ass mustache in the first 10 seconds of
Of
Justice League.
Justice League,
I don't think we're debating Justice League's better than Batman vs Superman though.
I think they're equally as bad.
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Zack fucking Snyder.
So Joss Whedon did as bad a job as Zack Snyder? Then?
Yes. They I don't know how both of those guys, I don't know how
Guess what?
Joss Whedon managed to fuck that up.
I didn't walk out of either of those two movies. I walked out of Suicide Squad. And I was
I didn't.
I
I
almost
watched
walked
Suicide
out of
Squad.
Suicide Squad.
So for me, it was a
That was
poorly
terrible.
poorly edited movie.
Yeah.
The cast was great. I liked the cast, with the exception of Cara Delevingne. She was horrible.
And
She's
the
a model.
Killer
She's
Croc.
not an actress.
The dude who played Killer Croc. Wow. Loopholes.
No, I thought he was funny.
Right.
I thought he was funny.
Killer Croc saying BET.
Killer Croc is bigger.
Killer
kinda
Croc
hilarious.
saying BET.
It was a little funny. But remember, there's a lot of backstory to WB and DC. Warner Brothers and DC forced David Ayer to write that script
Oh,
in 6
God.
weeks. And then apparently he got like locked out of the editing room, and they edited the movie. That's why it looks like a fucking music
They asked the
video.
guys who
The
And
Joker
then the
wasn't
third
even
act,
the
the
villain.
Yeah.
third act falls apart.
The Joker was supposed to be the villain. They marketed it as the Joker.
Yeah,
was
would it
the
have been
villain.
better
Then
though
you go
if
watch
he
was
the
the
movie
villain?
and
Look at the
it's
trailer.
Enchantress.
If you look at the
Now
trailer.
that we're talking about the Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
a lot of people are gonna say what they want to say.
Okay.
I think they didn't give Jared Leto enough time with that character.
Yes.
They
I
give
didn't.
him
I didn't
enough
mind
time.
his Joker.
I have a
I didn't
yes
mind
and
it.
a no.
I didn't have a.
I have a yes and a no on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because he's a method actor, just like Joaquin.
Yeah.
So he gets in the role.
He's an Oscar winner. Yeah, okay.
He didn't get
I'm
enough
mad.
time. He didn't get enough chance. He didn't get enough time. No
True.
screen, not enough screen
And
time
people
for you
can
to
get
enjoy.
mad at the fact that he played a gangster version. But you gotta remember, Joker started off as a gangster.
Exactly.
He wasn't the clown prince of crime. He was a gangster in the first few runs of comics. But what I didn't like, those stupid tattoos,
Mhm.
the stupid grill,
It was excessive. It was excessive.
The laugh.
the lack thereof. He didn't
It
have
was.
that.
It was a different. It's definitely a different take than what everyone is used to.
And you heard Jared's mad, right?
That he wasn't. I know.
That he didn't
Well,
get his own
but-
role.
But here's the
That's
thing,
though.
he's
I feel like
But remember, Joker and Joker from the DC
Oh, yeah, two
extended
different ones.
universe, they have nothing to do with each other.
Right. Yeah.
They literally said it. They're like,
Oh, no, they
it has
said it.
nothing to do. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
connection
Todd Phillips said it.
to those movies. They call it DC adjacent.
We don't even know if
it's-
this Joker is the real Joker because the whole age difference between him and Batman. is
Yeah,
just like
and they also said it said could have just been
inspiration.
an inspiration.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
that Arthur
I
is
would
not
buy
the
that.
Joker.
I would
That
buy
he is
that.
an
Yeah,
inspiration
that's
to
what
the
makes that
real
better
Joker
movie.
coming up.
Right.
Which is
Because
true,
this is a
because
period
look at the
piece. This takes
following.
place in the 80s.
Look at the following
Yeah.
he had.
Yeah,
Everybody
that
else
was
following
crazy.
him
I was
has a
thinking
similar,
that. Yeah. I-
Joker's one of those villains. It's like anyone can be Joker.
Right.
which is what's currently happening in the comics anyway.
But that's
Yeah.
what's happening socially, like in the world.
They
that
attempted to
live
do
in
it.
now.
So they
A lot of
attempted to
people
do
are
that.
sleeping now.
They attempted to do that on Gotham. I know you didn't watch Gotham like that.
I watched
I
it. I
did.
finished it.
I
So
got
you
the
saw that
Yeah.
when they killed the character of Jerome,
And they made
the first
I know
time
we don't want to
they
finish it.
He knows I don't want to finish it.
they made
It's
it they made it
5
seem
seasons deep.
they made it seem like it was anyone can be Joker
Right.
type thing.
Yeah.
But then when they realized how good the guy,
He's
the
an
actor,
right? He is
he's
good.
he's
Yeah, I did-
amazing.
I did
Monahan?
see-
Yeah.
he
Cameron
was-
Monaghan is they recast it and brought him back from the dead and all
And
that
he did it
shit.
in a nice, interesting way.
It was an
like,
interesting
you know?
way. The show got better as the seasons
Yes.
progressed.
Yes, like, 'cause season 1 and 2 is.
Season 1 and 2 is really, really
Five
bad.
guys.
3 and 4
Ooh,
are
I got like
great.
4 episodes deep.
And then
Yeah,
season
I'm
5,
bad.
season
Same
5, the last season, it had its ups and
Agents of
downs.
Shield. I was like, oh, I'm good.
Oh, don't even.
Um,
I can't
3
do
4.
that
But
shit.
to wrap up the Joker,
The Joker, sure.
let's do what's your rating?
Out of
1
10?
to 10.
Can I give
And was it
12?
good or a great?
No, I think I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Shit.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw my review, so I gave it a
Yeah.
perfect score. 10 out of 10, great.
10 out of 10.
Why perfect? Why the perfect? I know where he's going. I have an idea where he's going.
You want.
Go ahead, you take it.
Because,
Mm.
like I said, I didn't look at it like a comic book movie.
I'm
I didn't
immature.
look at it
I'm
as a
sorry.
comic book
Very
movie.
immature.
I looked at it as it transcends comic book, like I said earlier. You know, it's not only just it's a character piece at the end of the day, and it makes you look at things in so many other aspects. You're looking at society as of right now, especially with all the crap that's going on right now.
I agree with
It
you.
opens your eyes to other things. So they pulled you in with the fact that it's the Joker, but all right, now they hooked you, and now we're like, okay, now we're gonna give you a real message. So it really hit so many aspects. I know you're a little upset because it took from Taxi and King of Comedy,
Right.
They
but
shouldn't
it
take
took
out
from
Taxi.
great
I mean, De Niro
movies.
was there on purpose.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
took that movie.
But if I'm not
He took that
mistaken-
role because of it was explaining to him what he was gonna be doing. So he was like, "Yo," he's like, "I'm in because of that."
If I'm not mistaken, didn't
Todd
Scorsese?
Scorsese was
He
initially
produced, or
he
gonna
was
direct? I
initially-
heard he was gonna direct it.
He
at
was
one
gonna
point.
direct.
At
so
one point.
him and was it Bradley Cooper were initially attached
Right.
to work on to produce the project. He would not Bradley Cooper was gonna be Joker, but it was just
I
they were
would say-
producing.
Yeah,
He could have been a good one.
They
I
were
don't know. I think he
producing.
could've been a
They
good
were
one.
Nah.
producing the movie,
But that's another reason why
But
people
then-
didn't watch it was because it was Joaquin and no one else.
Right.
Yeah.
but then Martin Scorsese left because he went to go do The Irishman because Netflix gave him $100 million to do The
$5
Irishman
pounds too.
You know,
That's
And
why.
to talk crap about comic book movies.
and to shit on comic book movies. But I digress.
You
So,
guys are way deeper
but
than I am.
Bradley Cooper stayed on as producer.
Yeah.
And he got Todd Phillips, who directed the 3 Hangover movies and Old School.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. So You have a whole different aspect of the movie.
I'm not
Your
gonna say
opinion.
I won't give it a 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I think
Well, that's respectful.
Yeah,
That's
right,
respectful.
no,
Yeah, 9 out of 10
Yeah,
is
no.
I'm not
still
saying I would
great.
never see it again. I'm not saying it's like a bad movie at all. It's a great movie. I love the acting. I love the writing. I love the cinematography. Is
Jessica.
freaking amazing.
That
But
character development.
I might go with you.
I guess I'm kind of jealous because I took my girl to see it. She had never seen like King of Comedy, Taxi Driver, so she got to see it without
Open eyes.
knowing those influences and seeing how I was sort of telling her, I was like, you gotta watch this because you can see why it's such a good movie. Because it didn't steal; it was influenced by
Heavily,
those
but it's
right
still-
heavily, and that's what kind of took me away from it a little bit.
Okay, I understand.
But I
Yeah,
did
I
see.
get
I
what
did like how like the ending kind of borrowed from Dark Knight Returns,
Yes.
the comic, because that's where he kills the TV show host,
Yeah.
and he's like all dressed up and stuff like that. He just talks. I was actually rewatching that, and that's where like I'll give it 9 out of 10. And again, I know it's just his origin story, quote unquote. But I just wish I would love to see if they make a sequel. I would love to see how he matches up against a Batman. It doesn't have to be Robert Pattinson. I don't know, just because they're yin and yang. There's meant to
To
be
see Batman in general. Just
Right.
To see the,
I want to see how his chemistry
The
would
give
be
and
with
take,
the
the
Batman
give and
because
take.
Heath Ledger and Christian Bale were great.
Joaquin
You know.
did say he as
He was
of 2
open
days
to
ago,
it.
he's
He
like,
said
I'm
he's
officially
open to it.
open to
But I
Yeah,
don't know
he's
which
official.
Batman. It wouldn't be really Robert or like that.
No, it would have to be like some Saints elsewhere type shit.
Well, you gotta remember Robert Pattinson's Joker, his
Batman.
Batman isn't gonna be
No.
part of this either.
No,
So my-
yeah,
my
right. That's
question-
DC.
You guys are a little more educated.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking the question. Is it part of DC Universe or is it just DC?
No, it's
It's
DC.
DC.
It's not part of the cinematic universe.
Okay. That's what I figured. I
Yeah,
just
no
had to
connection to
get the
Aquaman,
timetable.
Shazam,
Okay.
nothing.
And same thing
It's
with
a
Robert
period
Pattinson.
piece that takes place in the 80s.
Yeah, Matt Reeves Batman.
Matt Reeves Batman,
Nothing to do with DC
nothing to
Universe.
the other movie.
He already
So
announced
it makes
it.
sense. It makes sense.
So,
Which that's unfortunate.
but I think if Warner Brothers has their way, they're gonna eventually
Right.
fold it and just have it, that.
Separate universe.
Maybe yeah.
No,
that's-
have it that,
Alternate
Robert
life.
Pattinson to go for Ben Affleck and that's it.
He
Yeah.
aged 20 years.
So,
He aged.
well, here's the thing,
Well,
we don't know what year this shit is taking
He
place.
said 90s. 90s is
Oh.
a decade, at least.
The Robert Pattinson one?
the
For-
Batman.
yeah, that's I've heard that.
For
Damn,
the
I didn't even know
Batman?
that.
Yes, 90s.
I didn't even know that.
I don't know.
Speaking
if I like
of, I want to see the Long Halloween
Oh,
And they said they already said they're
for
barred
all
from that.
either all three.
yeah,
Or- What was the other? Court of Owls.
They said it might be a sequel, but this one already has like Penguin.
but not yet. Court of Owls.
No.
You need
Yeah, I
to
don't
establish Batman first,
Yeah,
then
before
next
you
Court of
do-
Owls,
okay.
yes.
I mean, you
But
could
the Long
establish it
Halloween
with
is
Long
great
Halloween.
No, yeah,
because the
definitely.
Long Halloween brings in a lot of villains. But the way they do it, if let's say because it's gonna be a trilogy, the Robert Pattinson Batman
Oh, yeah,
movies,
yes.
they're gonna be trilogies. So
God,
the
you're not
long.
tired of Batman though? Jesus.
No.
No, we need a Batman to be done like right with everybody else, like with
But-
Superman.
Okay, so if you, but
I'm
bro,
tired
if,
of Batman, dude.
fam,
I'm
it's
tired of
really-
the origin
but
story.
if you think about it, it's
Jesus
really been-
Christ,
Origins,
I know.
yes.
it's
Yeah,
been,
right.
I'm tired of the origin story. Everyone is. Yes, we know Bruce and
Martha.
Thomas and Martha Wayne get killed by.
We've seen them
somebody.
die multiple times, just like
We don't-
We saw it in Joker.
Yeah,
That's true, but that was done well.
But here's the other thing. Everyone was tired of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and then they dropped Into the Spider-Verse. Then they dropped Homecoming and Into the Spider-Verse.
Amazing, by the way.
And Homecoming
Hold
was
on,
great,
real quick,
and Far From
kudos
Home was
to,
great.
to the Joker, whoever decided to drop it on that day, because it's like mental healthness.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Oh,
week is
yeah.
Mental Health
Plus
Awareness
the
Week.
Right,
Comic-Con, kudos to them. That's
Yeah.
like the sweet spot right there.
Yeah,
So
they were
speaking of Comic-Con, I know we've all here, all four of us have been to Comic-Con New York.
Yeah.
Been to Comic-Con.
Yeah,
2 years
3
ago.
times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went 2 straight years.
2 years.
And then
I
we
hate
took
my
this
first
year off because we were just.
I hated my first year so bad.
You see,
So
it's
my
coming.
goal is actually San Diego now. I want to go to San Diego Comic Con, but I want to do all 4 days.
I want to go to San Diego Comic Con.
I have to do a lot of drugs that day, but
off of
I
Comic-Con,
think I'm gonna do it.
So,
It was bad.
So
nah, because my first Comic Con, I had a chance to meet Mark Hamill, but it cost a lot of money. But I said I don't care.
500.
Nah, it was like 300.
That's,
you gave up a paycheck for that?
Right.
No, I had the 300 with me, and everyone talked me out of it. They're like, nah, you know,
You have
300.
bad
You can
friends.
get so many. You can get so many other things. And as they were telling me that,
Wait, was it Pete that talked to you?
it was loose.
Oh no,
Yeah, she talked
Luce,
me out of it.
you're a bad
She
friend.
talked me out of it. And we were right there at the front of the line before he even got there, so no one was
I'm
in
gonna give
line.
her shit when I see her.
Oh,
And
shit.
they talked me out of it. And then the worst part was when I walked away, I'm on social media. We're like, okay, let's go walk around the city for a bit. I'm on social media, and everywhere I was, 5 minutes later, he was just walking around taking free selfies with people. And I was like time stamping it. I'm like, hold up, I was just there. And then the moment I walked out of like the bag check and all that, he was right behind me, but I couldn't turn around and go back in. So I just said, I'm not going back.
That's karma.
I was
That's
pissed.
karma for you.
Oh
I was
yeah,
pissed.
you're scarred.
You have
Yeah,
bad friends.
I was pissed.
But my Comic Con experiences are actually pretty dope. The first year I went was 2 years ago, 2017. I went Sunday, and I went on a Sunday.
I thought you went on Thursday.
No, because after that I went to the Yankee game
Yeah, you're right.
because it was a wild card game.
You went on Sunday.
It was on Sunday. So, yo, that shit was fucking dope. It was awesome. It was my first time going to New York Comic Con. So I was just like, yo, this shit is so dope. I'm coming back next year. And then I went back last year and I did Sunday, but last year was just so fucking packed. There wasn't really much interest. Yeah, last year was horrible. It was bad. I left after like 3 hours.
Yeah, I couldn't do the whole day.
I couldn't do the whole day. I went in at like 11 and I think I left by like 3 or 4. So I did like 4 hours.
So
No more than
what's
that.
your experience in it?
Well, because I used to live in New York, I actually used to always
shit.
do 3 days of 3-day passes.
You got money.
Right.
You live in New York, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I was like when in college, I was like always a thing like, oh, when we go do Comic Con, let's save some money, let's do it all go together. And I always used to go dressed up. So I think I went twice as Han Solo, once as Indiana Jones.
Oh shit, you go for the full
No,
experience.
yeah, because I'm like, I don't know. People
I
come
thought
up to
there was a whole
you.
episode in the Iron Man shit.
Hold on.
Right.
I can't get it over my head.
Not Han Solo, Han Cholo, because I saw
Right.
that outfit you wore for Star Wars Day at work.
I gotta see this picture, man. Find the picture for me, please.
What, the
Han Cholo?
picture? Man, the only picture I have is me in a Chewy onesie.
Right.
Did you get your picture taken at work?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
got
will,
pictures actually of me at Comic Con with like a Boba Fett that was walking around.
I will find
Something
it
like
on the drives at work and I'm gonna send it to him and be like, yo, look at Han Cholo.
No, but yeah, no, that was really fun. I wanted to go for the panels, but I didn't realize how dedicated everyone else was more than me because for like Walking Dead, which was popular back then, I had to be there like at 6 in the morning, and I could never really go into any panel. I wanted to like go see Daredevil. That was great though at the time.
Oh, of course, because Daredevil,
Right.
The TV show is
Like,
amazing.
yeah.
I don't think I wasn't talking about the movie. I was like,
No.
Why? You guys didn't like the
TV
movie?
series.
The director's cut maybe,
Fantastic.
but still. But no, otherwise it was always fun to just dress up and see everyone else dressed up, get some free stuff, meet some celebrities. I met Zach Levi before he was Shazam. Like
Oh, shit,
back
that's awesome.
he's a tall dude.
Oh, because
He's
he
a
was
tall
in
dude.
Thor.
No, he was in Chuck. That's where I met him.
Oh,
So
That-
that
that
was
show's
before
hilarious.
Thor. And,
Chuck is
yeah,
hilarious.
that's why I recognized him because I love Chuck. And this was before Thor, it was before Shazam, obviously. And that was like maybe the most famous celebrity I got to take a picture with.
So
know
I
he
was
in-
really upset because one of my boys went to Comic Con this year, and then he hit me up on Sunday. He's like, "Yo," he's like, "I just seen your girl," and I was like, "My girl?" I was like, "I ain't got no girl, motherfucker." He's like, "Yeah, you do." He's like, "This your girl." Then he sends me a picture. It's fucking Margot Robbie.
Oh wow.
I'm like super obsessed with her because she's really hot, and I love her.
What was
So
that
I'm
movie
Quinn.
with her
Stalker.
and Will Smith? What was that movie?
Oh, there's two of them. There's two of them.
Focus? Thank you.
But there's also Suicide Squad.
At least about to fall asleep while it's nerd talk.
But no, by the way, that shirt is dope.
Thank you.
That shit's awesome.
Who's that on the shirt?
The gorillas.
The gorillas.
You can tell I'm not cultured as I thought I was.
You're not.
You are. You just probably don't know that that's them. They
Let me
have
see
a
the
lot
other
of
side.
angles. The other side.
Okay, yeah, that is the gorillas.
Yeah, they just look real.
I'm not.
But yeah, so he sends me pictures. He's like, "Yo, she just came out of nowhere," and I was like, "What do you mean she just came out of nowhere?" And then I was like, "Fuck, bro." I was like, "Yo, tell her I said what's good, boo." And he's like, "I'm not telling you that because I'll probably get escorted away by security." But I was a little pissed for that. But other than that, I heard it wasn't that eventful.
Paul would have said it to her.
Because Paul is
Uncultured swine.
yeah, our boy Paul
Insult.
from that we used to work with us. He's an acquired taste. Let's put it that way.
He's a sucio.
He'll say shit no one else wants to say. Major sucio.
Oh, I respect that. I respect that. So, y'all want to talk about Spider-Man coming back to the MCU? Thank God.
Yes.
I would say
Order in
thank
the
God
world
also.
has been restored.
I know people who are not happy.
Why?
Yeah, I know people who are not happy. My best friend, who is a self-proclaimed Spider-Man fan, he's pissed.
Pete?
Why? Because he
No,
wants
what? No. My friend, he's in the army.
Oh.
Yeah.
he wants to see him with Venom. That's why.
That's
I
why.
knew it.
Yeah, that's why. And he said it would have been better off in Sony's hands. And I said,
No, the fuck it wouldn't.
when with him, he's Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3. Venom.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Venom was okay. It was good because of Tom Hardy. That's what I'm saying.
That's
It would have been good to see those
Okay,
two
so-
together.
The character was good. Tom
Right.
Hardy's portrayal was
Right.
great.
The movie.
The movie just had some problems.
Exactly. The villain was horrible.
But I think it'll be better
I just
this
don't know why
second
he was
time
San
around.
Francisco the whole time. It just didn't make sense.
It's I think it'll well here's the thing. Originally Tom Holland was going to be in the movie, but as Peter Parker.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna be Spider-Man.
He wasn't gonna be Spider-Man, but he's gonna be as Peter Parker.
So he didn't have his powers.
No,
No,
he did,
he
but
wasn't
they were
gonna
just
be
gonna
suit.
present him
Yeah.
as Peter Parker, like
Oh, I'll take that. Okay.
yeah. So they were gonna do that, but then last minute, like they changed it. But I do think eventually, I think they'll bring Venom into the MCU.
I think so.
If they
They
want
have
to make
no
more
choice.
money, that's the only way they're gonna.
They
do it.
will. And
Especially
What do
with
you-
standalone
do you
movies.
think Andy Serkis is gonna do a good job directing that though?
I mean, did you watch Mowgli?
No.
Don't.
What's it
What's
called?
So
Oh,
Oh,
King
oh,
of Jungle,
do
right?
you know
right,
who Andy
right.
Serkis is?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, Andy
Lord of the
Serkis
Rings,
is
Gollum.
Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
He was
Who did
Caesar
the
in
mole
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
Caesar in Planet of the Apes. He was the
He was Kong and King Kong. Peter
exactly.
He was a
the-
Ulysses
he was
Claw
Ulysses Claw in
in,
Black
Black
Panther.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he's directing Venom 2,
Okay.
and it's gonna be rated R
And his first directing debut was Mowgli, which is like
Mowgli.
a dark take on the Jungle Book.
on the Jungle Book.
It's
It's
on
really
Netflix,
bad.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I bypassed that mad.
Apparently, it's really
Oh,
bad.
yeah,
That's a good job.
It's not as good as the Jungle
Okay.
Book.
I bypassed. I was like, no, I don't watch this.
No.
It's.
But that's the thing. I think this is like a dark take. You know, Venom, more dark with Carnage. You know.
I hope so.
If it's rated
Don't
R,
get like don't
it
get
Because the guy who
first-time
directed the
directors
first
are
one
not
did
always
Zombieland.
bad, you know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the Russo brothers,
Yeah,
their
I
first
love
movie
Zombieland
was
too.
Winter Soldier, and we all know that's our favorite.
Get rid of this
Yeah,
guy.
that was. Yeah, please, thank you.
Oh, we will. We'll discuss that a little later.
Right.
Please, thank you.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
What?
No, because the thing we did to him the other day,
Right.
we asked him what his
Oh,
favorite
you about to
was.
spill the beans now, man.
Okay, so
Wait,
I brought it up.
I asked
I'm confused.
No, my
He
favorite
said-
MCU movie.
when we
Oh,
were talking
man.
about
You're in Los Angeles.
what's our favorite like MCU movies, the one that Marvel and
Oh,
Disney
Civil
have
War.
made, right? Hold on. So I told him, I was like, "What's your favorite movie?" And then he told me what. I was like, "You better think real hard about that answer before we decide not to let you hang out with us." And then he told me which one it was. So then I called Jeremy over, and I was like, "Jeremy, come here."
Man,
And then-
good taste.
And then I was like, "Yo, tell him what your favorite MCU movie is." And he told him, "Which one is it?"
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
That's the
Yeah,
best.
Winter Soldier.
That's the best MCU movie,
Hands down.
hands down.
No competition.
Not
I won't
at all.
argue. I won't argue.
It's the first one to also bring like a new genre too.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on over.
Spy
It's a
thriller.
political thriller.
Political
yes.
thriller, yeah, it's like all
That's-
I just like Civil War just because the combination
Honestly,
of all
the
those
fights.
characters.
Okay, seeing all the
fights,
characters.
Right.
I like Civil War, but then like, you know, me being the comic book guy, it's just so hilarious when you see them fight in the book. You've got what 80 heroes
Yeah.
fighting at the same time, and then
66.
you see like
17,
6 people in
14.
the parking lot of an airport just fighting each other like
No,
one.
but that fight was well.
The fight was
It was
good.
good.
Very
The only
good.
bad part was Baron Zemo. That's it.
How dare you?
What did he say?
Really?
Bad part with Baron Zemo, he was fucking amazing.
I would like to say that Baron Zemo was probably one of my favorite villains in the MCU.
But you really think this was like his best? Well,
I'm not
his
saying
only
it was
portrayal.
his only
No, he's
portrayal.
coming back for the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but that's the point. He's coming back.
Well, what I'm
because I want
saying
him to
is,
be better.
he's the only, literally the only, well, besides Thanos, he's the only other villain who actually accomplished his goal. His goal was to break up the Avengers, and that's exactly what he did.
He did it.
He's,
That was the only movie they
and they didn't kill
Oh
him.
no, the second one, Infinity War. Yeah.
And I think that was there was a reason why they didn't kill
He
him.
almost killed
I forgot
himself.
about
Yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
Dawson, right?
But I mean, in terms of like to studio heads, there's a reason why they didn't kill his character because they
Oh, yeah,
already
they
knew they were
They knew.
launching
And he's a great
Disney
actor,
Plus,
Daniel Bryan.
and I guarantee you they knew they were gonna do the show. So they're like, yep, we're gonna keep him, and he's gonna wear the mask too.
I saw the
I'm
leak.
excited.
That's what I was like saying. I was like, I wanted to see
He's
him
gonna
more
wear.
people come
Zemo's gonna wear the mask.
Right,
So.
and
I
they're
saw
not
the
making
leak.
they're not making it
It's
seem
all you
stupid
rat
either.
ass.
You don't look
No.
stupid with the purple mask.
You didn't see the leak? I saw.
Wait, the Comic Con leak?
When he
San
like-
Diego? Oh, I saw that.
When
leak.
he had
Right.
the full
When
costume.
he like
Yeah.
hijacked their press conference.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
What
But-
else have I been? It's obvious.
So I do have 2 questions in terms of Spider-Man being back. Are we gonna see the Sinister Six?
We have to. We
Did
have
we
to.
have the
well,
Sinister
they
Six
kind of
already
teased it in the last one.
in Homecoming?
Was it?
Did they tease it? Homecoming?
They
No,
did.
didn't.
No,
No,
that
no,
was
no,
it makes Spider-Man
It
2.
made Spider-Man
right?
2 teased
Yeah.
it, but
No,
I
no,
get
no.
where he's
But they,
coming from. I get
you
where
know
he's
what
coming
reference I'm talking about in the credits.
from. Mac Gordon.
Yes, Mac
Oh,
Gordon.
Mac Gordon,
when he
right.
talks
Yeah.
to Adrian Toombs in prison.
Vulture, right?
When
And
he
he
talks
was
to
like,
Vulture
he's
prison, and he's
already
like,
smoking,
yo,
got some friends.
I know some people
Right.
that are interested in knowing who
Well,
Spider-Man
So what does that
is.
say? That says like what Dr. Octopus is already established and who else? Rhino is established.
Well, we have Aaron Davis
But let me ask a question.
Shocker.
Do y'all
We
think
have problems.
Mysterio's dead?
No.
No, Mysterio's not dead.
Mysterio needs to be part of the Sinister Six, and then
That's why.
and then
Yeah.
behind it.
Look
And I
at-
think
look
he's
at the
gonna head
people
it.
they're-
He's gonna
they're
be the
showing.
head.
They have Vulture, Mysterio,
Scorpion.
Scorpion.
And they've been teasing Kraven the Hunter for like the past 2
Yeah,
years.
that'd be
Saying,
great.
And-
Carl, they're saying,
but-
uh,
and they
the
also
next
have
one,
Prowler.
Eric Bana should
Donald
play.
Glover's character,
Mhm.
he's Aaron Davis, he's Miles Morales' uncle.
This is true.
So they already have Sinister Six, but I just want Doc Ock. That's what I want. I want another.
Just gotta
Alfred
be
Molina?
tasteful. That's
Should he
all.
come back?
Just gotta be
Wait,
tasteful.
now, do you want, like, do you have a problem if they turn it how they changed it for Into the Spider-Verse?
No, I thought that was awesome.
I would like a live action, like, woman to be Doc Ock, just like they did in Into the Spider-Verse. That was a dope take.
I wouldn't be opposed to
I
that.
wouldn't be opposed to
I
it.
like that
Just-
shit, y'all. That was
No, I'm
that was
fine
gonna
with
be good. But so they said he's gonna be in another he'll be in another movie aside from the third Spider-Man. What movie do you think he's going to be?
MCU wise?
Yeah,
Oh, MCU one, he's gonna make a cameo in another movie?
yeah, because it's for 2 more movies.
I'm calling Doctor Strange. Only because
You
I
know
feel
what? I
like,
can see that. I
you
can
know,
see that.
because at the end of, well, okay, spoilers, obviously, his whole identity is revealed to the world.
Yeah.
And I remember in the comics, there was a thing where, like, supposedly Doctor Strange put a spell on the whole world to, like, make them forget.
I heard
that
it was
Peter
no, it has
Parker.
something to do with the scrolls, right?
Mm-mm. No, he's actually right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Doctor
There's
Strange.
2 times
did
it
that.
happened.
So, because I'm like, okay, you brought him back into MCU. That's the one thing that would have been good with Sony, because then they would be like, all right, he went to another Earth or something like that. But now he's back in MCU. You
Well,
gotta,
there's talk that they want to split him up and share him, so they want to make a Sony verse,
right,
and then they want to make a Marvel verse, and Doctor Strange could be the perfect way to do it too.
right.
Because the movie's literally called Madness of
The
the
multiverse.
Multiverse.
Oh, that'd be a good way.
That's the way to share him. So you can have 2 different stories, but still have Tom Holland.
Yeah, but you kind of gotta get, especially if Mysterio isn't dead.
But then he does a little sparkly thing, and then
Oh my God.
But like if Mysterio isn't dead, then you kind of have to get rid of this whole thing where like he kind of revealed his whole identity to the world.
That's
And I think that Strange should do it. And so that's what I think. He's gonna, I mean, at the end
It's
of
a
that
good
Strange, he'll be
segue.
like, you know what, I need a favor.
It's a good segue to do it.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Perfect chance. That's your
It's also a
opportunity.
good
I thought-
segue for the X-Men.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I always envisioned that they would do it with Doctor Strange. Just have like Deadpool or like Wolverine come through the.
Well, to wrap things up, let's talk about the X-Men just to see what's going on with X-Men. How do you guys feel like they're gonna introduce them into the MCU?
all at once.
And so that was a
I
hard
say
one.
Scarlet Witch.
No,
Paul,
but
I tried to be Segway King. I failed.
no, I think Doctor Strange. Because if you really think about it, Wanda's gonna be in the movie.
Yeah.
But the rumors that it was like supposedly her powers or all the snaps of the ring is what ignited the X gene.
That's what
Right.
they wanted to do, but I don't see them doing
You
it.
think that's like the
No,
easy
because
way
it
out?
was reversed.
It was reversed.
Yeah, but
exactly.
all those snaps, I feel like how many snaps is it in total?
Well, the snap too. Well, the
No,
first, the
no,
second
no,
was
no,
no,
no.
it's 2.
No,
It's
Infinity
this one
Wars,
and then that one.
Then bring him back,
That's
and
it.
then the last one.
No.
Just these 2.
Oh no, he's
No,
right.
1, 2,
Wait,
3.
wait.
He's right.
It was 3.
There is 3.
He died.
Hulk and Tony. Oh
It's
shit.
three.
Oh, but that, oh, you
So
say
that's an
Tony
odd number.
activated something?
I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. I'm going
Damn.
It's okay,
Yeah.
it happens.
No, but
I
what?
might have to.
I did my homework.
As a writer,
For
how
that.
do you explain that? Tony's like, oh, before I die, I'm gonna create
I
a race. I don't
honestly
know.
think it's gonna be because of Wanda.
Yeah.
This is like a
'Cause she's a
low-key way of
mutant,
House
you
of
know.
M.
Because you know she has her own show on Disney Plus,
Mhm.
And that
so
show makes
she's
sense.
living in her own world.
Right.
And then-
Because she's
She's living in her own reality.
She went crazy because Vision's death. He
Right.
didn't come back,
Mhm.
so she created her own reality, and then that she.
But how do you
shattered the
explain her
multiverse.
appearance in Endgame though? Because she seemed perfectly fine.
No, you
Well,
can tell
she
she was
just
about to
woke
break
up.
him in
She was
half.
like-
She was about to kill
Also,
him
you're talking
herself.
about like afterwards.
After the fact.
She was
After
about to
the
kill
fact.
himself.
like
So
he-
after losing him and then dealing with that war in Endgame.
Right.
Because if you look
That
at the
fucked
end,
her
you
up.
see the
Got
end
it.
game. She was about to kill him herself, and that's when he said, "Let it rain on him."
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, when I went to go see it in the movie theater, I don't think I heard a fucking pop bigger than when she came on
He
screen.
got moist.
Yeah. When she came on screen, it was just like, alright, motherfucker, fuck you up. I don't even know you. Motherfucker, you will.
Right.
Yo, when it looked like she was about to kill him.
She was gonna
everyone
kill
was
him.
like,
If it wasn't for him to let it rain
Rain
on
fire,
him,
yeah.
rain fire, whatever, it was.
Yeah.
It was over.
that
Yeah.
movie was, yo, I thought I was at a sporting event with like all the cheering that happened when I saw it. It was wild. It was wild.
Do you think we're getting X-Men first or Fantastic Four? I mean,
Fantastic Four.
I think we're getting Fantastic
That's
Four
the easy way because
first.
of Galactus and all that stuff. They have to introduce all this
Obviously,
Yeah.
that's not coming for like another 7 years, I think.
No, can't
Fantastic
wait too
Four?
long. Can't
No,
wait
you're
too
crazy.
long.
5.
You're crazy.
5. We'll call it 5.
You're crazy. I honestly think it's part of phase
3. I
five.
say it's 3.
I think
3
it's part of
Because
phase
phase
5.
4 is 2 years.
Yeah, but
And that's
think about
very, yo,
the Eternals and Celestials. They're introducing all that.
Mhm.
Boom,
Yeah.
Galactus right there.
Yeah, you're
Supposedly Liam Neeson might play Galactus, by the way. You know.
I'm sorry, what?
What?
Liam Neeson, Galactus.
that's.
You don't approve of that?
He
Oh, okay. Everyone looks.
approved. That man's like my mystical father.
Now, with everything, do you think they're going to keep Deadpool rated R?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it's confirmed.
That's
Bob
not even,
Iger
that's,
said-
that's not even
What about
a question.
Blade?
Yeah.
I would love a
That's the
rated
next
R
one that's
Blade.
gonna be rated R.
Yeah.
It's
They're gonna
easy.
see the success. They already see the success of rated R films. Look at Joker.
Look at Joker,
Look
yeah.
at Deadpool,
Logan.
Logan. They see
Take
the
my
success.
money. Take my money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bob Iger already confirmed if it's worth it, he's not gonna.
He's
change
not.
it.
He's not opposed to
gonna
it.
change
Yeah.
So, and look, when you watch an MCU film, you don't see the Disney castle, you see Marvel.
Right.
So it's technically not promoting Disney.
Yeah.
No, they own it, but it's,
Yeah,
it's not different. We're not promoting it.
So my thing is, I think they should do this. With any of the movies that they don't think would fit where having the Disney logo, like any Fox properties that they bought, keep Fox as a studio.
Right.
You know.
And just put underneath a Walt Disney company. They used to do it back in the day when it was a Miramax and Hollywood Pictures. They were releasing adult shit, but it was stuff that Disney owned. But they were never showing the Walt, the Magic Kingdom thing or nothing. So I feel like that's what they should do.
I think they'll keep it that way.
Yeah, keep it that way. But yo, speaking of phase 4 though, yo, I'm excited for that. But that's gonna be 5.
Yeah.
But speaking of phase 4, yo, it's a lot of stuff in 2 years, bro.
Man,
Just listen to this. Black Widow, May of 2020. Then The Eternals, November 6th, 2020. Then 2021, we're getting 4 movies.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man 3, and then Thor: Love and Thunder. That's a lot.
no, it's good stuff, man. But we're
And
we
then
have
Black
people
Panther
falling
in
asleep
May.
back
Not
here.
to mention TV
We
shows
got
too.
everybody falling asleep, man. I think we should start wrapping things up. We got people falling asleep here. You still with me? Okay, cool.
That's a lot of shit, though.
Yeah.
And the TV shows?
And they're all tied into the universe too.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything.
God. Like WandaVision leads into Doctor Strange, so it's cool how like they're putting, and then they have like big budgets too.
Kevin Feige's officially the hardest work.
He's Jesus.
Yeah, he's
He
Jesus.
needs to do a Star Wars movie
Yes.
pronto.
He is doing a Star Wars movie.
Is that official?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's super official. He's producing a Star Wars
Okay.
movie.
Alright, I feel better.
You feel better.
I feel better now.
But I think eventually he's going to leave Marvel.
Ooh, do what, DC?
You know he's going to run all of Walt Disney Studios. He's going to take over for Alan
Think
Moore.
he's gonna take over Alan?
I think so.
He earned it.
He earned it.
He can't do it.
Alan Moore will retire again now that he did his job.
Yeah.
And because that's what they brought him in from Warner Brothers to do, out of retirement. He's like, fam, I need you real quick. Come make me this money. And that's what he did. Bro, Disney have $5 billion movies this year, and there's still
This is
2.
about to buy another studio.
And then there's a possibility that they're gonna do
Should
2
they
more.
just buy Sony? Or no? Right?
just for Spider-Man.
5 billion supposedly
Not
for
too much
Spidey.
money.
Yeah, Sony doesn't really have much that makes me want to go. Yeah, I'll buy it.
Or at least buy Spidey fully from
Sony.
Sony.
So he's not gonna do that.
5 billion?
No, because then they lose video game rights as well.
They lose everything.
And they did. This is an impressive video game.
Insomniac Spider-Man? Yes.
Yeah, they lose.
Right,
They lose too
Spider-Man
much.
on PS4.
They don't. They don't. Yeah, they don't make money. At this
They don't.
point.
They don't have
It
any other
doesn't make business
franchises.
sense.
No, not at all.
They do, they're just gonna be.
They lost James Bond.
Uncharted. They can make their video games movies.
James
God of War.
Whatever.
Yeah, but when's the last time you saw a successful
Detective Pikachu?
movie based on a video game?
Detective Pikachu was actually pretty good.
No, it was nostalgia. I enjoyed it.
I'm actually a fan of Prince of Persia.
Okay, a good movie based on a video game. There, I changed it. A great. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Doom. I wish.
Get out.
Yeah, I'm not answering that question.
Exactly.
I can't.
All right. On that note, we have another podcast we gotta record. Not to kick no one out, but I got people falling
No,
asleep on
but
me.
we want to thank
I
you
work
guys for
for
I
coming
want
out
to
with
thank
us.
Jeremy. I want to thank
Definitely,
Tony
you
for coming
guys.
out. Ralph, thank
Yeah,
you guys
Tony,
for
I
being
appreciate
here.
it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out, man.
Yeah, thank you.
For the next comic book episode, we'll have more time next time
We'll
around.
do the just walk around with the
Just
talk
two
fucking
snaps?
game.
Oh my god.
Hi, guys.
Thank you guys, man. It's been a wrap. Appreciate you.
I get to go to sleep now.
Oh yeah, because you're like a grandfather. You're like
Not bad.
Ah, that's good. send me the
Yes, he fucking
He
did.
didn't send me the homework, so I didn't. So
Just make it. My tongue wet.
that's right. Thanks for coming out,
Yeah.
Kylie. Thanks for coming out. I know you've been through some things. Me, you guys, man, appreciate y'all.
Shut your ass up.
This is gonna be
Yo,
this is
we
the
waiting
reason
for our
why the
turn.
This is why the Joker became who he was.
Wow.
I tried to say thank you, and this is what I
Shit.
get.
Okay, Ralph, shut up.
Oh,
I like that shirt. Kind of reminds me of Street Fighter.
I thought it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
I thought it was.
That's what I thought it was.
He did have
Yeah,
a lot of time.
It's based off of Street Fighter. Yeah.
Like based on Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So the place like.
No, I told you the Joker movie alone. That shit